Hello friends, welcome to Intuites.
Let's begin the class.
Let me share my screen. So we end up doing some mounts. If you remember, like I have created a Python function, and where I am being used the mount methods using the service principles, and through which we can call the mount storage is a function, and there we can give our storage account and the container name, so that we can mount all the containers from the storage to the Databricks. This was the endpoint, right? Till this, it is covered up, everybody.
Yes.
Okay, great. So here, basically, you should have a storage account where raw, process, and presentation and practices for our understanding. So these all three should be mounted, right? So we just one by one just call the function, and just like the raw got, just instead of raw, click on processed and click on presentation, so that all the mount points should be mounted on the Azure Databricks. Now tell me, if all the mount points are like mounted on the Databricks, what is the command to see the mount points or all the mount points? Whatever mounted you have done it. Is there any command is there to see showcase in Databricks? Whether we have done it or not done it. So something like this. So we can use inside the display, we can use a command called dbutils.fs.mounts. So mounts method is used to give you the complete picture of what are the mount points we have. If you execute this, which one am I executing? So if you executed this, then it will give you all the mount points. See, one point is mount project TL raw. Okay, and one project is presentation, and one process also there. It is not. Somewhere it will be down somewhere. Mount project TL processed. So all the mount points are processed. In the sense it is mounted. So things are looking good here. Okay. Now the second thing is, let's start with the project basic overview here. Okay. So what exactly we need to do here in this case is that now inside your raw folder, I have so much files. Okay. So I have some CSV file, I have some JSON files, and I have some folders as well, all those things. From where you will get this. So this I will provide you. You just need to upload this into the raw folder. Okay. So here the question would be, I have two folders as well, along with files. Files is fine. I can just click on, I can go to the container, I just click on the upload, and one by one, I can just upload the files. But here there is no option through this UI on the portal azure.com. We can't upload the folders. It's not possible. So for that, I told you to use one use called, right, Azure Storage Explorer. Remember this tool?
Yes.
Okay. So you need to use the Storage Explorer and make a practice of this also, because that will be handy, because in real time these are the tools will be used. So when you log into the Storage Explorer, let it come up. Okay, so just go to your storage account. In case this is my project DPL, then I will expand that. Then I will go to my containers, and I will go to my raw containers. Okay, this is my raw containers. Just double click on the raw, and here we have option upload files and folders. Okay, these two options, upload files, we can do it in the UI, no problem, but upload folder option will be not available on the UI. For that we need to use the Azure Storage Explorer. Okay, so all this, how many files? 1 2 3 4 5 6 files along with the two folders, and each folder have some files are there. So all this 8 needs to be published to the raw folder. Okay, first task is that. Make sense? Any questions?
No.
Okay, then finally next your job is to, because these are the raw data. Okay, so we have another container here. If I go to my containers here, so I have a processed, right? So what our task is, we'll take the raw files one by one, we will transform the data as per our requirement, and we'll process the file into this container through the Databricks. Okay, so that is our job. Make sense? That is the next task we need to perform. So for that, we'll go to my workspace here, and I have on the DB project, I have my inputs. Inside the inputs, we have all the things created. Finally, we create the Azure storage mounts, right? So what I will do here, now I will create another folder on the DB project, which I will give name as called data ingestion. I'll create a folder called data ingestion. And here I will create few notebooks here. So the first notebook will see what exactly the file is. So let's understand the first file. We'll take the circuits.csv file. So this file I want to process this file into the process container. Right now it is on the your raw container that I want to process. Okay. Any questions up to here? Are you good?
Yes.
Let's do that. Okay. So as you know, all the Databricks functionality will work on all the Spark codes, right? So let's create a notebook here, and I will give the name called ingestion. This is my data. So first of all let's understand that what are the mount point I have. I already showed you on that different notebook, but in this notebook also I want to just see it whether I have the proper data or not in the raw folder, whether I am able to get it. So there are two ways to do that. So I can use a display method here, display method. I can say dbutils dot fs dot mount method. I can use mounts or mount, whatever, and if you enter it, it will give you the data. Just let it run. Now I can copy this path and I want to just see whether I am able to access the file whichever there under this container. Okay, that I want to just see. fs.ls, not mount. I just want to see the ls method. So let's see. See here, I'm able to see exactly what exactly there on the storage. So I'm able to see the circuit.csv, some couple of JSONs. So things are there. So I have some folders as well. So things are looking good here. So that I'm able to access the raw container first into my Databricks. First part is done. Now what do we need to do? We are talking about the CSV file. Okay, CSV file, I want to just first I want to read this from the raw container, then I want to do the transformation on that, and finally I will write it to the process container. That's the way we will do it, right? So I will read first the CSV file, then I will do couple of transformation as per our requirement, whatever things are there. Then finally end product will be the whatever the file that I want to put it back to the process folder. Okay, so here the requirement would be something like this. So read CSV file from a raw container. In this case the file is circuits.csv. Okay, then do the transformation and write to processed container with a different format, not in the CSV format. We will use a different format that is called the Parquet format. So what is a Parquet format is? The Parquet format is widely used for big data engineering or data engineering because that is a more compressed file and compatible with the data engineering big data, and it will give you the high performance. So whenever you are storing the data in a Parquet format, and this format we will find in a big data project only, that is called a Parquet format. So it's one of the format that is called the Parquet. So this is our requirement. Fine, it makes sense.
Yes.
Okay, let's try to read this file first. So let me copy this path. Okay, here this is the mount point I have where I have the CSV file, the CSV. So to read a file on a CSV format, as you know, all the things are on the Spark code, right? So we need to write some code. So first of all, let me create a data frame. Data frame you know from the pandas, right? Now the Python codes will come into picture along with the different PySpark utilities. So let me create a data frame first. So I will say circuits underscore df. It's my data frame. I will say spark dot read dot csv because I am reading the CSV file here. Okay, then I will give inside a double quote, this is my file, and that's it, simple. I'm just reading the file from the mount point where I'm storing the CSV. Let's enter this. And to see the data, there are two ways to do that. Okay. So if you see here, it is saying that it is created a data frame. What is data frame, guys? What do you mean by a data frame? We thoroughly discussed on the pandas. What is data frame?
Data
Hello?
frame is it's a library to do this what you can call to read the data in the structural or tabular format.
No, it's not a library. The data frame is nothing but it's just like a table only. It's
Yeah,
like
it's
a
a
row and
table.
row and columns.
Yeah. Okay. Read by the table structure, manipulate
Correct.
the data.
Yeah. So basically, there are two ways to see the data. Okay. First is take the data frame and dot show. There is a show method is there. Okay. If they will just open up that, if all looks good, then you will see the data. But there is some problem in the data. We'll see that. But this is the way we can see the data. And this show function is nothing but is called the Spark function. So traditional Spark, as I the first level I will told you that there is an open Spark, open source Spark, and the Spark got integrated into the Databricks as well. So when the Spark got integrated into the Databricks, they have introduced couple of new functions as well, which will be applicable on the Databricks only, not in the traditional Spark. So this show function is nothing but to display the data from the data frame in a traditional Spark. This is show method. Instead of that, we can use display method, which is that more towards the Databricks function. So display, then data frame. This is also we can do almost slightly different output, but use the display method because it will somehow looks good to me. Okay. Okay. So there
We
are
lost your screen share, Samir.
no, I'm sharing, still sharing.
Is anyone else able to see the screen? For me,
I
blank
can
screen.
see that it stuck, it freeze for me. Yeah, now it's working.
Now
I
I
can
can see.
see, Anita.
Okay, now I can see. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the two methods. One is the show method, one is the display method. I would suggest go the display method because this is more of a Databricks way. Now the problem is here, if you see the first line is actually the header here, okay, where my header is coming like C0, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8. Okay, so here traditionally when you are reading the CSV file, there is no option. It will identify automatically which is header, which is column. Okay, so we need to give explicitly say that I have a header on this file that I need to provide to the customer. Provide to the command. So there are two ways to write it. Either we can write it in this way after the path. Okay, put a comma and I will say header equals to true because I am saying that my header is there. Saying that I have the header. Please do with the header only. Okay, but if you say this,
One
go
second. I
ahead,
think your screen is freezed. For everyone is
guys.
screen freezed.
Yeah, for me also.
Yeah, for me screen is freezed. Okay, whatever it's you are typing, right? It is not displaying it.
Let me reshare. Just a second. Okay, now it's okay.
Now you can see.
Okay, just like a heads on, I'm like in the sense not blaming you guys on this one. Is somebody is doing screen recording? What I'm doing recording is fine. If somebody is doing extra screen recording on the system, be honest with that.
No, Samir.
No,
Is
Samir.
anybody is doing?
No.
Okay, thank you. Because I observed that somehow if extra software utility being used in a screen recording, this can happen. So that's what I'm asking. Okay, anyway, that's fine. So I can use the command called header equals to true. So I'm saying that I'm giving the instruction to the Spark saying that this file I have the header already. So if I enter now, execute again, and if I display the data frame now, I will get my header back to the original space where it is there. Okay, so this is the one way to write it. Like after the path, we can say header equals to true, or there is another way to write. This is you can just remove here, and previously before CSV, we can say spark dot read dot option. In the option, I can give like this time I need to give header in a double quotes. It's my option. Then I will say true. Then .csv. So there are two commands I'm using. First is the option where I'm saying that boss option is my file will be have the header. Then read it in a CSV format. Output remains same. We can use any of the syntax. Doesn't matter. Okay. but there are two ways to write this. Okay, make sense? Is it make sense?
Yes, Samir.
All good now? Okay. So now this is the file. Now, after reading the CSV, always say that whenever you are reading the data from a database, okay, we know that the data types, what it contains the data, we already defined it, like which is integer, which is float, and which is what exactly. But here, when you are reading the data from a file, there could be chances that what do you call, like the data type of your the columns, whatever it is reading from the file, it could be different. Okay, and we need to change the data type for each and every columns. Okay, so what I need to do here? So after reading the file, suppose you want to see what the data type holds by each and every column, the circuit ID, reference, all this column, whatever the column I have. So what is exactly the data type for each and every column? So for that, I need to say my another function I need to use. Just remember that is called data frame dot print schema. Okay, print schema. P is small and S is capital. Okay, print schema is a function. So if you execute this, then it will give you the each and every column with their data types. Okay, so you can say this is string, this is string, this is string. So almost everything is string here, which is not the ideal scenario here. Okay, so here if you see circuit ID is, it should be a number, and even all this stuff. So it's not looks good that all the columns are being used as a string. Okay, make sense? Print schema. Remember, got it right? I'm going slow. If any point you have any questions, please do let me know. You are good? Say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the one way to do it. Another way to display all this option is, let me take the data frame here. Dot describe.
Samir, one doubt here. Can't we use D types for the data types?
Sorry.
D types to display the data types. We will be using that one, right? In
Which
Python.
data type? D
Yeah, to
types.
display the data types. Yeah, to display the data types of the columns.
No, that is on the Spark, right? So that is called the Python. That is Pandas. This is Spark.
Okay. Okay.
Similarity is there. Functions will change. Okay, that's why. So here
Okay.
I'm saying another method I can use is called data frame dot describe dot show. It's also I can use it. So okay, sorry. Describe also is a function. This will give you another way that we can see that how many null columns I have for each and every column, or whatever I have. So in the circuit ID I have total 77 count, and these are the things. In my circuit reference column I have couple of nulls, couple of blanks. So this will give you a one kind of summary about the current data frame. Okay, so where you can see that how many number of records, whether I have any null records or blank records, whatever may be. So all these stuffs we can see through the describe method. Okay, so there are two ways. So first is print schema to see the all the schemas which is available. Another way is called the to see the just like a description of the data frame, like how many record, how many nulls, all the stuffs. Okay, these are the two methods we need to remember. Another method is there. When times come, I will show you. That's another summarize method also there. Okay. So now next that is done. Now what exactly we need to do here? Because we are saying that these are string. Okay. So I need to change it. So to change the schema. Okay. So there are two options are there. So what I will do here, let me put it here as well. Okay. So here I am saying option header equals to true. First option. Another one is that what exactly happening here is that my file, whichever there in the Excel, right, I have written in the CSV, the circuit ID is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a number. But when it is reading to the Databricks, it's not able to understand that 1, 2, 3, 4, it is a number, it's a date, or what exactly is not able to understand. So what we will say that in this case is that please refer to the schema what is there in the source. Source in the CSV file, whatever there it is, just refer to that as it is to the Databricks as well. Okay, so that's what we are doing it now. The next option. Okay, so for that, what exactly we need to do here? After option, we can do put another option here. dot option. This time I will say there is an option called infer schema. Yeah, sorry, I like this. Infer schema equals to true. What is this parameter is all about? This parameter we are saying that please refer to the schema whatever there on the CSV file. Don't put your brain by converting all the data into string or something else, but do it like that. Infer schema in the sense whatever there in the CSV, please refer as it is to this. Okay. So this is the option I am using it. Now just see one thing here. Now previously when I am not using this option, infer schema true, I have running one Spark job. If you see here, I am not run yet, okay, with this option. So it was like a one Spark job, and that is normal options. But when you used this option, this infer schema dot true option, let's see this what exactly happening here. It is running now, but it ran two Spark jobs. One, it is this is very much important. It's an interview question as well. So when you are using an option called infer schema true, the first one it will read the file. Second Spark job which will run, it will just compare each and every column with the source column and refer the schema whatever there in the source. Okay, this is the way. Just think like that. In this case, is this a good practice to use this option? What do you think, guys? First of all, you understand what we mean by infer schema? Say yes or no.
Yeah, it's used to refer the CSV file. So we have to
Correct.
click
Now,
on.
okay, now I have used the infer schema. Now, previously it was all strings, right? Now, let me run the print schema and we will see the changes. So, circuit ID becomes integer, if you see, right? And even alt also coming integer, string, double, everything is done. Previously, everything was string, right? Because now it refers to the CSV file, and based on that, it is defining the data type for this. That's why this option is called the infer schema. Makes sense to everybody? Is it make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, what about others? Gone silent.
Yes, Sumit, but okay, but Mark, I couldn't. I'm listening the audio because the video is like the screen, right? It's taking a lot of time to refresh. Okay, now, okay, for me it's a lag. The screen sharing is lagging for me, but I can listen that I'm listening the audios.
What is for everybody is the same?
Yeah, for me also Samir.
For me
Same.
also same, Samir.
How many members we joined? 15 members. Who are joined?
15.
I'm seeing attendee 15, 14. Few people joined twice or what?
Yeah, I joined twice via the laptop and this computer, but both the things facing the same issue. I
Yeah,
don't
me
know.
also Samir. I joined twice.
I don't know why it is lagging. This is due to the.
Yeah, now
Yes,
it's
okay.
Okay, so I have used this infer schema option. Okay, here after the header true, I have used another option where I am inferring a schema equals to true. So what does it mean? It will refer to the schema or the column types. What are the metadata I have on the source file? That will the data type of the particular columns will be referred from the source itself. Okay. Now, as I told you that when you are using this too, there will be two Spark jobs will be running. First, it will load the data. Second, it will compare the each and every column to the source. Now, my question is here is that, is it a good practice to use the infer schema? What do you think? Anyway, we are getting the data type whatever we are expecting by comparing to the source file. But is it a good practice? What do you think? Just think twice and tell me.
No, because it's a cloud, right? We'll have the network issue and all performance could be delayed. And that too, we are moving into the cloud, so there is no use of checking into the source system again and again. That's what I think.
Okay. What about others? Can you just answer me the question?
No.
Oh, but why no? Just think in a such a way that okay. Okay. So here just think twice. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 columns are there. Okay. For the 9 columns I am inferring the schema. So it will go to the source, compare and come back. Think in a such a way that in a real time this data could be number of columns, right? It could be more than 100, sometimes 200. So 200 columns, it will compare against the source and take the schema back. It will kill the performance for you, jobs. Okay, because anyway it is creating another job for the Spark job and it will kill the performance. If you say the infer schema if pursues true, each and every column will go, check it, come back, check it, come back, check it, come back. So this option is not a advisable option in real-time scenario when the data set is very big. If it's a small set of data, it's fine, still you can do that. But it is not advisable to use the infer schema. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So then what to do? We will define our own schema on the Databricks itself. And finally, we'll refer to the data frame. Okay, that I will show you. But one thing I want to show it here is that this one liner code now, suppose the line of code is very high because I am saying here one option, then CSV, all these things I am using it here. So I can break it also. That's a good advantage in Spark code, which is not there in Python. So here the option is we can say first option, let's say spark.read.option header equals to true. Okay, and after that I want to break it in the sense I want to just put it the next line, but it should treat as a single line only. I can write in a double line, but I want to treat as a single line code only to just to like accommodate all the lines. So what I need to do here, so after this I can just put an enter here, and after this also I can put enter. But this will not work like this. I can refer it like this, but it will throw an error. So for that, what I need to do, just carefully observe, and many people do a mistake on this when they are starting up. So after the first line, this let's say spark.read.option header equals to true, and I want to continue the next line with a single line. That I want to do. Give a space here, give a space. Still my screen is visible.
For me, it's freezed. Some.
Same
Uh,
here. For me also, please.
Some screen got freezed. I'm saying some kind of the messages, list of options that screen.
no, my speed is very good. Maybe there is an issue on the go-to meeting only then. Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
can
now I know after some time it is lagging. I can understand. So here, after your first line of the code, we can give a space, one space, okay, and put a slash. And after that, don't give any space. Just make sure that, okay. You can give a space before to that, but don't give any space after that. Then same you can do it here as well. So this will make what happen when you write like this. So this will convert everything into a single line only, but we are breaking the lines into three different lines. Okay, and if you run this, it will run it. It will work. So why we will use this functionality? Because sometimes the one-liner code will be very clumsy, right? We have this much of width. So to avoid that, just break it down one by one, so that by seeing also it is good, visibility wise also it is good. But after the first option, please give a space, one space, but after the slash don't give any space. If you give some space, that will error out again. So make sure that. Okay, are you good? Still lag? Hello?
Yes, Samir, for me, yes.
Yeah, for me, it's a blank screen.
But how many times you guys are joining? Like 20 attendees means I'm not able to understand. You people 3-4 times joined or what?
Yes, Samir. From my side, at least 4 times.
Why?
Yeah, every time it got stuck, like freezed, so I logged that again.
Same with me, Samir, because even I couldn't able to see it properly, so I thought of joining it via the mobile. Like that, I'm switching on and off the devices and trying to connect.
Just give me a second. Let me stop with the recording. Is the screen visible now?
Yes, Samir.
Okay. So here what I was saying that whenever you are writing the code into a single line, you can break it to multiple line but treat as a single line only using this option. So the first line we can say give some space, then put a slash, then don't give any space, then write the next option, then write the next option. So you can break the lines so that visibility wise that will looks good. Okay, this was I was discussing. Now we have discussed that the input schema option is not an ideal option when you have a multiple columns, more than 100 column, 200 columns we have, that time the input schema option is not a good option at all. Okay, so when you are planning to define your own schema, so input schema will not work. So we need to define our own schema. Define our own schema. There are two ways to do it in Spark. First is called the DDL way. Okay. Second is struct way. There are two ways to do. We can define your own schema. One is called DDL and one is struct. Let's discuss first the struct way, because most of the time when you enter to a Databricks project, there will be there will be a struct type projects will be there. Struct type will be there. Okay. So I'm just deleting unwanted columns, unwanted cells, which is not required for me. This is also not required. Now this is the way. Now what I will do, before to this reading, I will define my schema. So when I'm talking about a struct type, right? So there is a data type or there is a function already there in the PySpark that I need to import it. The struct type and the struct field. This type I need to, along with that, what are the data types I have, the integer type, string type, date type, all this type, I have to just to import it. So for that, you know how to import the Python libraries, right? How to import it?
Import
Import. Import, then?
library name,
Okay,
NumPy, Pandas,
correct.
Matplotlib.
So that's the, if you want to like import all the function from a library. But another way we can do it with the required, only the required functions also we can do that. So here I will say from PySpark dot SQL dot types. This is the module, okay, on the PySpark. Import. First, I want to put struct type. This guy, make sure you practice properly from now onwards. You guys have lots of break, lots of backlogs, and don't say me that now also you have the backlog. Okay, that is not a good sign to have a backlog now also. So I will say two
Spark
function I'm
spelling is wrong.
important.
Spark spelling.
Yeah. Okay. Struct type, then one is struct type I need to import. Then I will say struct field. Okay. Then I want to import integer type, data type. Then I need to put my string type as well, string type. Then I have another type called double type. So these are the import function I need to use it. Okay. Shift enter. So just import it. First level. Okay. Done. Now on the next line, I need to define the schema. Okay. So I say circuits underscore schema. I am defining my own schema on the Databricks. Make sense? Here I will use two types. First is the struct type and the struct field. So struct type is something like it is represent a type. Inside that, each and every row or each and every column, what kind of data type I will define using the struct field. So once I write it, you will be able to know it. So I will say struct type. Inside that, I need to give a parameter called fields equals to. Okay, just give me a break here, like line up fields. Now inside that, I need to define my the struct type here. So here I'll say like this. Inside the square bracket, I will say struct field. Struct field. Inside that, I need to say first column. So my first column is on this one. Is let me run this and see circuit df dot so. Let me check that. Okay, the first column is my circuit ID. So make sure that your spelling or the case sensitivity is proper. Okay, so I will say first one circuit CUIT ID. Circuit ID, it should be an integer type. Okay, this is the first I'm defining for my first schema. Okay, comma. Then I can copy paste this line. So how many columns I have? Let me just check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so 9 times. So 2, comma 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now let's change it one by one. So circuit ID, then circuit reference. Circuit reference, it should be a string type here. String type. Then I have another column. Are you able to get it? What I'm doing it here?
Yes, Samir. Samir, suppose if we are having 100 columns, means we have to know every column header. After that, only we
If
can pick.
if you have the data coming from a file, this we need to do it 100%. It is coming
Okay.
from a database, rare chances, very rare chances. Okay.
Okay. Okay, Samir. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So, no, it
In
will,
circuit reference, C should be small. C is small.
which one?
In the second column, circuit reference C is small.
Thanks for that. So this is string type. This is also I am doing a mistake. Is that it is a function? Okay, integer type. It's a function. It's not a like that. Okay, like that we need to be defined. This will throw an error for again. So whichever is a function, we need to give in a square bracket. Sorry, round bracket. Country is done. Now lat. Lat is also what kind of data I have with the lat. Okay, it is also make it as a double type here. Double type, and long also is a double type. Long double type. Last one is what? Alt. Alt is a integer. Alt type only. And last one is a URL. I think URL is nothing but string type. Okay. So once you define like this, now we can just execute that. If all looks good, your schema should be created. Saying that integer type is okay, spelling mistake. Integer. Here also there is a spelling mistake. Okay, schema got created. Okay, now we have created a schema. Then I need to pass on this schema to my data frame. Instead of writing option here, okay, so I can use the schemas method. Instead of writing option, I'll say schemas now. Schemas or schema, I think schema only, and inside that I can use the schema name whichever I have created here. This is called my circuits underscore schema. This is the name I can pass on directly. Okay. Instead of writing, now previously when you are inferring the schema, it was two Spark jobs. Now if you say schema you define on the notebook itself on the database side, now that we are referring here. So if I run this, it will run only one Spark job only. There will be no two Spark job because this defined of the schema we have done it here only. Okay. So and now if you do a print schema on this, and if you run this, we'll get exactly what we are referring previously. Integer string string double double integer. Okay, so this is the one way to define your schema. The first, second way I discussed the struct way, but another way DD well we'll see later. Okay, any questions up to here?
No.
Okay, good. So now let's remove unwanted stuffs which is not required. So this part is required and this part is required. Yeah, so I will create another header here. And how to create the markdown entries in Databricks? And to
Percentage
give some
MD.
head. Correct, good job. So I will say percentage MD, then I can write some here. So here reading CSV files, reading circuits CSV file, circuits CSV files. So this is the way I'm ready. So this is okay. Spelling mistake. Circuits. Fine. The first part is done. So we have defined, we have imported the required modules. Then we define the schema. Then we have just reading the file. Make sense? Now the next part is I'm saying again I'm creating a MD and I'm saying let's select the required columns. Okay. Now we will select the required columns only. In this case, if I say right now, if I say display, I have couple of columns, but out of that, let's say I don't require this URL. So I don't require this. Okay. So there are multiple ways to do that. Okay. So one method I'm just explaining today. We can do other. We'll discuss later after that all the steps. Okay. So one way to do it is, let's say I'm creating another circuits underscore selected underscore df equals to circuits.df dot select. There's a method called select. Okay, and inside that we can put the column names, whatever the columns I want. Okay, suppose I want my circuit id circu, or let's say just a normal. So I just want to display lat and long. These two only. These are the two columns I want to just select it. Okay. So in this way you can pass it there. And when you take this data frame and you want to showcase, right? So or display whatever may be, then we will see only the two columns will be there, only lat and long. So this method is called your select method. But there are multiple version of the select. So we will discuss on the next class from here. Okay. So as of now, just I will give whatever the files I have on the raw, that please upload it to the raw files, and please read the file along with the struct schema definition and just practice up to here. Then from now onwards I will see how to get the selection. Okay, make sense?
Yes, Samir.
Okay, I think I'm done for today. Okay.